Okay. Emperor Melkor here, coming at you with another metal review. So, we've discussed many great black metal bands so far. Dark Funeral, Mayhem, Bathory, and of course, we now must speak upon Venom. So, I have for you today Venom's second album called Black Metal. So if I had to say anything, this is one of the most influential black metal albums at the time. So this is a great album. There's not a bad song on this album. In fact, this is going to go on after the first Slayer record is done playing. Unfortunately, because of the fascism in the world, I cannot play the songs because then it will become considered inappropriate. So Melkor, will just speak upon the albums instead of playing it like he got caught doing in the last video. But anyways, the video still stands because Emperor Melkor does what he pleases. And so, basically, you got two sides to this record. Okay, you got side black and then side metal. Okay, so basically, for those who are stupid, I'll explain it to you. Don't worry, because I know you're stupid and don't understand basic things. So, side A is basically side black, and side B is basically side metal. So first of all, the band is comprised of three brutal men, okay? And it's Kronos, Abaddon, and Mantis, okay? And Mantis is the Grand Master of Hades and Mayhem. You can see him there. Yeah, he kind of looks like that dude in the Conan Barbarian film. Yeah. And then, Abaddon is the barbaric guardian of the 7 gates of hell. I have trouble with numbers. I'm pretty sure there's 13 gates of hell. But, like I said, sometimes numbers are too hard for Emperor Melkor. And then you have Kronos, who is rabbit captor of bestial malevolence. And you just ask any goth girl and they'll tell you that's what they call men with shits, okay? So anyways, try to stay focused though. So Venom is, their first album is called Welcome to Hell. And it's a very brutal album. But that's not the album we're going to be discussing. So first of all, this is an English heavy metal band. Okay, so yes, some people argue, well, Emperor Melkor's, this is not a black metal band. Okay, well, first of all, their opinions are wrong, and they have historically always been wrong. So, first of all, Venom is first wave black metal. Yeah, okay. It's without this album, we would not have. We wouldn't have Bathory, we wouldn't have Mayhem, we wouldn't have Dark Funeral. I mean, Demo Bugir covered the first song off this album called Black Metal, right? So it's basically, this album is called Black Metal, which, it names itself after the subgenre of metal, which is considered extreme metal. Yeah, okay. Unlike a traditional heavy metal, like with supposer bands, basically, right? Okay, so this is one of the times where posers realized they were posers and decided to no longer be posers and redefine music. Okay, and so that's Venom. Excuse me. So this album basically, according to this group at AllMusic, they describe this album as sowing the seeds of much that would be referred to as extreme metal, like Emperor Melkor has already informed you. Okay, so in the book Lord of Chaos, that's written by the Mayhem, they have arrived at the album carved in stone some of black metal's essential features, which is true. But nevertheless, its lyrics and imagery were the biggest and most major influence on the Norwegian black metal scene. I mean, look at that. I mean, who wouldn't feel comfortable seeing that face appear above you while you're sleeping, and you wake up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and this guy's looking down at you and he's like, yeah, and then he starts singing the second song on the album, To Hell and Back. It's a bit pretty brutal. You probably feel pretty inspired. Anyway, so basically, Venom's first album was received positive reception. That's like what I said, the kind of opposer band, because everybody said they were good and they got popular and had success. So it's kind of not black metal, but I have to acknowledge that this album speaks to my dark soul and I really like it a lot. Venom is more heavy metal, speed metal, but also considered black metal, especially during this album. This whole album is black metal, but it's he kind of sings like a poser still, so he's not like black metal, he's like black metal. So it's not true black metal, but it is black metal, because technically this is the start of black metal. So I guess second and third wave black metal is the more true black metal. It's I'll just have to say, Emperor as an emperor, one of my favorite duties is gatekeeping, and so I'll just tell you right now that most people, if they can't name 3 Venom songs, they're not black metal, okay? And so the 3 Venom songs, of course, that I will announce to you all is Countess Battery. And I'm not cheating by looking at the back, okay? Countess back, I put the record down. Okay, so first of all, name songs that are not even on this record. Welcome to Hell, okay? And of course I have to say Countess Battery, because that song is pretty metal. And by Countess Battery is metal. She's definitely wife material, okay? But because that album, or because that song is on that album, I'm gonna have to name another song. And of course that song is At War with Satan, which, who would be stupid enough to try to go to war with Satan? But it's mainly talking about the poser angels. That they say, they sound like Coldplay, where Venom is black metal, so it sounds more like Satan. So anyways, so those are the 3 songs, okay? And I ask you to name 3 songs and you don't even know. So anyways, going back to the album, we're just gonna go ahead and lift off the songs from this album, okay? And the first song is black metal, and it really just sets the whole tone for the album. It lets you know it's gonna be brutal and that it's going to steal your soul, okay? And so that's really the second song, To Hell and Back. So basically, we're going to take you to hell and back. So, you're going to stay in hell, but we're going to show you hell. So it's a nice tourist attraction, I'm sure. Then the next song is very brutal. It's what I would like to do to some of my enemies, and that's called Buried Alive. It's very metal. And the next song is kind of about necromancy. It's called Raise the Dead. In fact, it's really hard to... You cannot really be a black metal band unless you have at least one song about necromancy, okay? So that's a little... and I have a song like that on my album before anybody tries to say that I don't, but I do. In fact, I had to... I can't talk about that on the thing, but just know that my bassist is no longer. Well, he went on a trip. Okay. So, anyways, the next song, the fifth song, is called Acid Queen, and that's a very interesting song because it could be totally about, you know, hang on, sorry, SLD. It could be about that drug, so you never know, you might have a good time there. So, and then the next song is called Bloodlust, which who doesn't lust for blood? I know that I try to drink the blood of my enemies every day. And then the next one is what I was called and bullied in school called teacher's pet, and yeah, all the people who call me that, you know, they don't even have jobs like I do, so, you know, sucks to be them. So that's like the first 7 songs on the album. So this song is so 7, hang on, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? Okay, so, the album has 14 songs, okay? So imagine actually, you know, having more than 9 songs on your album. So the other side of the album is basically what, you know, we should all live our lives by, and it's called Leave Me in Hell. You know, who wants to get better? Who would want to be happy? You know, we should live in the darkness. Then the next song is Sacrifice. And this song reminds me of my bassist, but I can't go into that too much because, well, anyways, Heaven's on Fire. Now this, okay, so unfortunately the band Kiss, you know, the most poser band of all time, who stole corpse paint from us black metal people, even though they try to say, well, technically we came out in the 70s, you know, and then they say, so, well, okay, so like Alice Cooper, and then also the New York Dolls, Alice Cooper, Kiss, Gene Simmons. Okay, please, first of all, it was Mayhem who created the corpse paint, so whatever. You can have fun being wrong, and your side of metal that nobody. First of all, you're not even metal. You're like classic rock. Okay, so then we get to the best song on the album besides black metal. So really, there's 2 best songs on the album. It's the black metal, and then of course Countess Bathory. So Emperor Melkor will have a 45 vinyl come out with one of his songs. I can't talk about the title because then you would know the song, and I would, you know, it's possible, you know, we've had this discussion in other videos. If I tell too much about my album, you guys will know about it, and it won't be black metal. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is the B-side on that 45 will have a cover song of Countess Bathory, sung by yours truly, Emperor Melkor. So, you know, I hope to please Satan with it, and I'm sure I will. Then the next song is on this album is called Die Hard. So it's not to be confused with a Christmas film with starring, what's his name, Tom Hanks or Willis Bruce. Yes, I think it's, no, it's, yeah, it's Willis Bruce. So that's not about the same song. It's not about the film. It's just about dying hard, and we should all, you know, we should all die hard, you know, at the end, if you think about it. And then the next song really resonates with me. It's called Don't Burn the Witch. Like, you know, so just you're afraid because somebody knows herbs and botanies and you burn them. It's because they like to experience pleasures and what's the word? Concupiscence or whatever, yeah. So, yeah, you shouldn't burn the witch, okay? And in fact, the witch burns you. So, You know, it's like that Mayhem song where they castrate the person and they lose their manhood because the witches dance around them, because the witches are more powerful than pilgrims, you know. Just a personal shout out to say fuck Thanksgiving. You shouldn't be thankful about anything. You should want to kill everything. And you should be unthankful for everything that you've ever received, because you should take things by force. That's the most metal way to do things. Okay, and so then the album closes with an introduction to one of their best songs called At War with Satan. So a majority of this song, I would have to say, the first song on this album is about Satan. The second song is about Satan. The fourth and fifth song is about Satan. And then, of course, like the last 8-9 songs are about Satan. So you got a really good concept album about Satan. So you should listen to it. It will really inspire you, like the other albums, to be evil. And it's better to be evil than to be good, because if you're good, you're a poser, and it's not good to be posers, because posers to you know, they kind of deserve to die. So you don't want to be one of those. So the one thing that's cool at the back of this is it says, "We drink the vomit of the priest, make love with the dying whore, we suck the blood of the beast, and hold the key to death's door." Well, this is some of the best poetry I've ever heard in my life. When I was in school, I would write this poem down. Anytime I had to do poetry in English class, I'd do that, and I'd get sent to the principal's office. Can you believe this? They would send me to the principal's office and say I can't write songs or poems like this. And then they got severely mad when I caught down. I was out. They had this flagpole, okay, and I burned the flagpole down, and I used the principal's Bible to start the fire. And so, you know, they accused me of being a terrorist, and I'm not one of those things. I just, you know, I'm metal, and they don't understand metal, let alone black metal. So, anyways, this is the band's logo at the back. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And this is like an early, kind of like, I don't think it's the first, it might be one of the first pressings of the album. I know it doesn't say black metal here, but I'm pretty sure some of the first variants didn't. So I don't really know. You know, to be honest with you, I stole this from Gill-boy because I don't have a job. My job is to burn down things that I disagree with and be right in every conversation and make the greatest black metal album that you will ever hear when I'm done with it. Okay, so don't worry about that. But this album influenced me. Okay, it really did. It's a great album to live your whole life by. I would really base your entire philosophical existence on the song lyrics of this album. So it's pretty good. It's already sealed. Let's pull this up here. Let's look at the actual the vinyl, the record, the spaghetti. It smells like sulfur. It's really nice. It makes me feel like I'm home at the basement. But there you go. It's well, you can see it's like a combat record. Yeah, it's just combat, I think. Yeah. So it's really good. It's a good album. It's one of the best albums you'll ever hear in your life, and it should help you realize that you're a poser and not living your life right. This is definitely how you can find a true metalhead, is if they can name 3 songs from this band. So, anyways, what else could we discuss about this album? Well, in reality, you know, they started to, you know, they got a little heavier during this time, And this album, came out on November 1st, in 1982 by Neat Records. And then, in the UK, and then, like I said, in America, it was released by Combat Records, which is this right here. So it's really it's the first pressing for America, and it's got the best, what's it called, chord progression in almost all the songs. Like, the progression of the songs are far better than anything you could hear. You got some really good bar chords, the bass lines are really sick, you got the double pedals, you got all that stuff. It's all really great and good and everything. And I wish that Venom would tour. I don't care if if the bands are dead, the members are dead, then just perform necromancy and bring them back to life, and they should tour. It'd be one of the greatest things that has ever happened. So, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. On one of the albums, they have a B-side, and it's In Nomine Satanas, basically, in the name of Satan. And that's a really good song because it reminds you that you could really achieve a lot in your life, So, yeah, anyways, let's see, what else could we possibly say about this album besides the fact that, let's see here, I don't know, you probably don't know this magazine because you're posers, but Kerrang! Magazine wrote that almost 40 years on, black metal as a genre may be at times unrecognizable, but remains the powerful seed from which all of it grew. And numerous artists, including Mayhem, Indomitable Girl, Cradle of Filth, and Bathory, they owe their allegiance to this album. So it's kind of impossible to talk about black metal or this kind of extreme metals without talking about this album. So, Emperor Melkor is gonna be very busy, so this will probably be the last time you see him until sometime later. But I felt it would be a disservice if I didn't talk about Venom. I was thinking like maybe I should do Bathory, which, if you want Emperor Melkor's correct opinions on Bathory, write it down in the comments. But yeah, I feel like the most part though, Venom, like, Emperor Melkor is your teacher. He has shown you how not to be poser and how to listen to actual authentic music, okay? And if any of you think that any of these records or anything I have said is incorrect, you're wrong. Okay, we've already discussed this. Yeah. Okay. I cannot even begin to name the time where I have ever been wrong on anything metal. Okay? So, well, you should do yourself a favor and get you some whiskey and actually no, just get oil, lighter fluids, and drink it and listen to this song, the whole albums, and listen to all the albums I recommend. They will change your life for the best. So that's pretty much it for this video. I know this one's probably not gonna be as long as the other ones because I've got things I got to do. I've got to finish the last song on my album, and I have my very own latex queen that I must satisfy. So, you know what? Until I see you all again, stay brutal and always stay black metal. Satan.